Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak and to share about my experience working with the women farmers since last 2 decades, and especially I'm working in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana states in different areas and different level of farmers, dryland, irrigated agriculture, and especially with the women farmers. Like in the as a part of climate change, like what we can do, in agriculture systems, especially in the sustainability of our food security, our ecological security, our any security you are talking about. Like we need to take care of our planet Earth. That is the primary responsibility every human being living on the planet Earth. So I feel that we are in the climate emergency. In that climate emergency, we need to respond as a human being first. Then that is the second impact is the woman will get affected more and more. So because of that, woman also has to play a key role in that, because woman has, in mother, she has a nurturing character. So in this aspect, every human being can do, like how we take care of our family. As a We are the family custodians. In the family custodian, we'll think about every family need to be taken care of without getting any negative effect. Similarly, on the planet Earth, whatever the life is there, so every life has a role to play on the planet Earth. Take the example of small insect to big elephant also, small grass to big tree also. So like if you think, if every life has a function on the planet Earth, so if you see that everything is happy and everything is going well, there is no environmental issues, there is no climate change. Now what is happening is there is some imbalance is happening in the ecology. So why that imbalance is happening? Because of our human interventions. What may be the reasons? There are several reasons are there. In that, if you see, like especially we are facing three crises. One is the environmental crisis, and the second one is a livelihood crisis, and third one is a public health issue. So in these three aspects, if you see, so in every aspect of it, we are getting affected. So if you combined all these three, it's like a climate change, we can say. We can also experiencing different climate extremes. So we can say temperatures are increasing and a drought is occurring recurrently, rainfall pattern has been changed. All these experiences, all these extremes, climate extremes. So how our agriculture sector, how the humans are getting affected. In this aspect, if you see, like especially in the agriculture sector, if you see, like 30 years back, if you see, like entire system, agriculture systems are in situ. Like you don't need to get anything from outside. Like your chickens are at your home, your milk is at your home, your vegetables are being grown, your seed is at home, your menu is from your home, and everything you are producing. Your is a circular economy is taking place 30 years back. Now slowly it's a shifting, like a agriculture becomes a all external inputs, like bringing seeds to fertilizers to everything we are getting from outside, using land as a commodity, growing the food or whatever the commodity it may say, selling in the market. We are working for the money, not for the food and environment. We are not getting connected to that. So in this aspect, what happened is like livelihoods are getting affected, especially women is getting affected, especially women. If you see food and nutritional security, which you are talking about, the food, where the food is coming from, what kind of practices we are using, what kind of food we are consuming. If you see food without toxin, how many people are eating the food? Can we say at least a 10% of the food whatever we are consuming, is it a toxic free food? That is the biggest question mark. So how many people are, like, though we are the farmers, how many people are producing on their own food that is a toxic free food? So that is the second question. So these questions are remains as usual, because we are producing, we are consuming, but we are not able to get the nutritious food. What is happening? Why these things are happening? So these are the mainly getting uh, uh, affected is whatever the practices which we changed, shifting to monocropping systems, using all chemical synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. So, and then the commercial crops which we are growing. So all these things, like it is turning into the how much yield we are getting, how much investment we are putting. So like we are into the economic calculations. So we are not worrying about ecological concerns. So if you are not conscious about your ecological concerns, there is no sustainability. So you will be always economical concerns if you are we are thinking about economy. So the kind of extension services which are giving to the farmers is also like yield and economy. The way we are looking at everything is on the like what are like kind of education from the top bottom to the bottom, all the levels. We need to speak eco-conscious language. Then only there is a some change will come. So during this COVID pandemic time, so like nature has given a chance to review whatever the practices which you are giving. Now people are concerned about the healthy food, health consciousness. These things were changed. The consciousness has come, but there is a knowledge gap, there is a practice gap still remains. I can say that. So when you are working with the farmers, so the a 50 years, 60 years farmers still they are doing agriculture. The next level generation, everybody is into some kind of employment. The third generation comes, all of them we are into the urbanized sector. So it means it is a knowledge and practice gap is also there. So like unless if you gone back to the nature, you have to move back, and we need to interact with the grandparents and greater grandparents. Then only we can get some extent we can get connected to the nature. Early days we don't need to have a special education of agriculture and food production, because we are into that system. Now we moved from the nature, we moved out from the agriculture. Now the younger generation should come back and learn about what is happening in the nature. Then only the what kind of problems which you are facing, maybe extent it may get reduced. That is one thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is, like, because of our human greediness, everyone wants to like use maximum of the land. But whatever the trees are there, so earlier in all the crop boundaries, there will be some trees. Without trees, if you talk about the only agriculture, it will not sustain. Like if you are we are talking about the organic carbon and carbon deficiency in the soils. Why it is happening? Because the kind of practices which we are using earlier, entire farmland there will be some kind of trees, some tamarind trees, some neem trees, some agriculture implements, bubble trees and amla trees, mango trees. There will be so many trees will be there. There is some interaction, the leaf and litter falling is going to the soils also. And also the kind of cropping system, the all the crop, like it's also the food is being produced. Like if you think about the fair share, the bottom portion of the cropland should go to the soil. The middle portion of the crop should go to the animals. The top portion would to the humans and birds. That is actually fair share we have to talk about. Now the fair share is not there, because all the crop residues is being burned, where we are giving back to the soil. Whatever the, like we talk about the mother earth, but mother is giving so much, but we are not giving back anything to the mother earth. So that's where the deficiencies are coming. There is a, like always my guru Dr. Venkat says, feed the microbes. The microbe soil, if the soil health is there, your human health is there. Why we are facing so many of human health issues? Cancer we are talking about, there is many deficiencies, thyroid deficiency, we are talking about so many issues we are talking about. why it is happening. Actually, he is a medical doctor. He left his job because always the patients are increasing and increasing. What he said was, like, I cannot eat more and more people. That root cause is the soil health. Unless if you don't work on the soil health, if your soil is healthy, your humans are healthy. Unless if it is not healthy, like not humans, every life on the planet Earth is healthy. That's where everyone we need, how we build the health, how we can build soils, how we can build the diversified farming system, how we can build the tree-based farming systems. So these are the interventions which we need to educate. We have at least a minimum, a human being can start doing something about the greenery part. And also, like if you think about the earlier cropping system, traditional ways, like always there is a called Navadhanya system. So Navadanya, it's not talking about the Navadanya seeds. It's also talking about 9 months green coverage on the planet, like on the green coverage on the sun. You June until the March, you can harvest different kinds of crops, different phases. But the 9 months, your soil will be covered. Soil should not be nacked. It should be covered. How we feel, because if it is a living soil, so the soil should be like, you need to cover with something. If as a humans, if you are open, like you will be experience different extreme conditions. Similarly in the soil life also. So we have to compare with everything in the life as humans. Like take the trees, take the plants, take the crops, any ecosystem. If you see, like we need to work with all ecosystems. We need to work for the all seasonal crops, all seasonal foods. Like we are talking about the health, like you start eating the local food and seasonal food. I'll just challenge, like no health issues. So these are my experiences when we are talking about, like the food, the kind of food, like whatever the food is being grown, so within the 5 kilometers range, that is called local food. If you start consuming, not only the cities and the towns or somewhere else, so give priority to the local food and seasonal food. Like when I'm working with the women, what they used to say is, in 1 acre, they used to grow 10 to 12 varieties of the crops in Kharif and Rabi season. So they say that I don't need to depend on my husband to get the food. If I have a 12 varieties of crops in my farm, any festival comes, if chana dal is there, I have a chana at my home, I'll make a dal, I'll make rotis and I'll give it to them. I have wheat at home, I immediately feed them. Whatever the food it is available in my home, I don't dependent on anyone. So it is my home, it is my home. And also like nutrition levels, if you see, when they are in the small tender stage, they eat. That is a green food they eat. When they are fresh, they eat. They preserve and they eat whole year. So like this, the food security comes from the diversified cropping systems. So what we believe is, one is the health, soil health. So the soil, as long as if you can maintain the soil health, if you can maintain the diversified farming systems or cropping systems, then you can manage the pest and disease problems very easily, and you can go out and you will get your food security, your health security, your all kinds of security you can get. And also we don't need to go for the crop rotation. That's what always we say, that it's like a combination of carbohydrates and cereals, pulses, oil seeds. That is the cropping system we used to talk about. The cereals, will be nutrition takers. Legumes are the nutrition givers. Oil seeds will be the balancing. So that's what the community people says about it. So all these things, like we have to be conscious, the kind of education we have to give it to the all kind of extension services. Another important thing is, which I can talk about, is the seed. Seed is very, very, very important aspect of it. If you have a seed at your home, like you can say, when the season comes, when the rain comes, you just take the seeds and sow in the farm. If the seed is not available, like you have to plan for it, you have to go to the fertilizer shop or seed shop, buy the seed, you have to wait until the rain comes, you have to sow the seed. That is like, you can just imagine. So earlier days, there is a system of seed banking. In each village, there will be a person's taking care of the seed. There is a system also there. If I take 1 kilo of the seed, after the crop season, I'll give back to them 1.5 kilo of the seed. So this is the local systems prevailed, because now everything is because of the policies, because of the hybridization, because of the companies. Like, I think you don't need to take care of the seed. Everything is depending on the companies. Where is our knowledge? It's like seed, I can feel like it's like so much of knowledge, how you can harvest, how you can sow, how you can preserve it, when it will get the pest, we have to manage the pest. So what kind of practices we have to do, all these things. So there is a big knowledge prevailed with the seed, because once you don't have practice of the seed, then it means entire knowledge has been gone. How it has to be transferred to the other generations. Again, we have to go to the companies and then learn about it and practice about it. So these things are very, very important. Like, take the any of the system. Like, also I can also talk about and working with the farmers, like the kind of implements which you are using. Because if you see, when I'm working with some of the areas in South Telangana, so the farmers, like, now there is no animals in their homes. Do you believe that, like, in one village which I surveyed, the milk is going out every day at 200 to 500 milk packets are coming in the village. It means per annum, per month, it is a 1500. It's like around 10,000 plastic packets are coming into the village. So this kind of system, because there is no animals in the village. Because why it is not there? Because the kind of crops which they are growing, the soya they are growing, or cotton they are growing, so they cannot maintain the animals. There is the circular economy, if you see, there is a chain was broken. So unless, it's like a culture also, if what kind of cropping system you are following, how we can integrate the animal system, how we can be at the food security, all these things are the if you have animals at your home, if you have a cropping systems, whatever the you will plan your cropping system also keeping in view of your animal. So whatever the animals giving manure, it is giving to the your crops. The crop again you are feeding to the animals. You are eating, your animals are eating. So it's like surviving. It's a in situ practices. Now the chain link was broken. In this aspect, like, if you see entire thing, like the seed plays a major role. Like our woman says, like, women will have a, like, all the systems, because the seed only woman can take care of. So she knows when to harvest, when to clean, when to preserve, how to preserve, and that is like a food. Like the woman will give a 10 to 15 varieties of seed to before sowing, then men will sow the seed. If you don't give that many of variety of seed, he will not be the sowing the seed. So that is the system is prevailing. Because of the cattle system, the plowing bullocks are reducing. So now everything has been mechanized. Mechanization, what happens? The tractor person is not interested to sow different varieties of seeds. He want to finish his job and go off. That's what our women are saying. There is like so many issues are there. How we are going to resolve these issues, like by implementing, by practicing, sensitizing, and these things we need to speak in a different levels, policy levels, and then implementation level. So in this aspect, why what I'm saying is, in the farming systems, we can create microclimates. Like what kind of microclimates we can create? The Navadhanya cropping systems, the soil is being covered for 9 months. It means there is a one microclimate. If you start planting tree-based farming systems, and also incorporating a perennial species. If you can incorporate, it means wherever the trees are there, there is a different microclimate. So where the trees are there, you can feel, I can say that 2 to 3 degrees temperature we can maintain. And also we need to follow the natural orientations. Like for example, south side, all the strong winds will come. How we can plant the bigger trees and taller trees and greenery trees that season, we can at least reduce the wind velocity to passing through our soils and our lands. So this is also very important aspect. And also according to the climate change, maybe I can say the last year experience. Last year in the summer season, there is a heavy rains we received. Because of that, there is a too much of fruit fly. The fruit fly, it's like continuous for the next season also, because it's an unseasonal rains. I can say this is like one kind of experience. The rainfall pattern has been changed. So in that, how we are getting affected. So the coming seasons, like following the season, is like more pest problems we are experiencing. So in that aspect also, there is some issues we need to think in larger scale in the global level also. Like every agroclimatical conditions according to the local situations, we have to work with the trees. We need to follow the diversified cropping systems, because diversity means not only the diversity of the crops. We need to think about diversity in all the species. In the tree species, we need to think about cropping systems. We need to think about local breeds of the animals. We need to think about, like, name it, what not, like a cat to dog to small ruminants to big animals, and even every animal we need to think about. And now also, like, there is a large scale problem which we are facing, all the farmers are facing, because of the wild forest zones are being reduced. There is no food for the wild animals. All the wild animals are being creating problems for the farmers. Because when I'm working in one of the drought district in Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh, so there is a big problem of the deers. All the deers are coming and they're eating away all the food crops. Farmers said, no, we are not going to grow for the food crops. Then what we suggested was, it's not one individual action. It's like it's a community action. Try to do each farmer at least a 4 to 5 rows of food crops, whatever the crops which you are growing, cotton or whatever the commercial crops which you are growing, but do it in large scale. That's what we have done in the large scale in the community level. All the farmers, they integrated with the food crops in their border crops, and also integrating some of the PGMP and sesame in the cotton crops. At least the damage is not so much. It's a damage is there, the wild animals, because it's also fair share. We are thinking about the food security of humans. We need to think about food security of soil microbes, birds, animals, and then humans. Everyone we need to think about while you are designing of your crops or farms or whatever it may be. We have to think, we have to be with the nature, not against the nature. So work with nature with the cooperative mode, not with the competitive mode. So this is what we are working with the farmers. We are teaching the farmers. We are showing the farmers, like RNA as RNA agriculture alternatives. Wherever we are working with the government or different external aided projects. So whatever we learned the permaculture systems, we are sharing, and we are giving training and capacity building to the many of the farmers. And also, like, it's not preaching. It's like what you are preaching. It has to be adopted. That's where we have to do some of the things. It should be functional. The functionality, once people start seeing and believing it, the change will come. This is what my small observation while working with the farmers, especially when you work with the small farmers. Always we have to work with the diversified cropping systems. It's also when the resilient production systems, when you're talking about, we need to have a diversity. Like there is like, it works like insurance. So if there are 10 crops, one or two crops go getting affected by the different climate extremes, at least 3 to 4 crops they will come back. If it is only one crop system, everything has gone. So at the same time, in 2009, when I'm working with the farmers, like all the farmers in one of the place in Karnool, in 13 mandals, when I'm working, there is everyone has gone for the cotton, 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 cotton. Like that time, there is no rains. Like all the farmers, I can say the investments is also lost. That time, the farmers are asking about the at least resilient seeds like millets, foxtail millet or little millet seeds. The seed is also not available that time. Like whatever we have small seed banks that we have given 2 to 3 quintals of seeds. So that 2 quintals of seeds it has given to the 80 farmers. It was a production of 360 quintals of the production. Like these things also we have to keep it in mind. The drought resilient seeds also very very important. When the climate changed, we need to be creatively respond to the nature. Don't think about the if the cotton goes, what next. We have a knowledge, so we have to be get ready for it. So drought comes, extreme rain comes, whatever the things comes, farmers should get ready for it. We need to get prepared, get ready for whatever the climate extremes happens. And also, like when the drought extremes happens, like how we can store the water. That's what we did it in the large scale. Water harvesting is one of the key principles. How much we can conserve, catch and store energy. That energy can, like the maybe rooftop water, the farm level. So the farm level water should not go out even single drop of even each farmer. We have to work on very intensively with the water harvesting and with the vegetative and with the ground covers. So this is another principle which we are educating the farmers. When we are working with the Bidakana women farmers, so there is a each of the farm, the water harvesting is the first key thing which we have done, and the woman has done, and women only they did the survey and they done. And also when we are planning in the participatory way, all the women participated and they thought about their food security, how 365 days they can get food from their own lands. So by tree crops and perennial crops along with the annual crops. So they designed in a such way that all around 30-40 varieties of fruit species, and then along with the some food crops. So there are 100 farmers are practicing of that. These things, if you start educating the farmers, definitely they will adopt these things, they will practice these things. So this is another example I'm just giving. When I'm working with the tribal farmers, they don't like the trees at all because they came from the forest. So then until the trees are growing and started giving the crop, they are not even taken care of the plants. So once they started giving the fruits, so they started living on the farms itself. So the kind of experience also, it's very, very important. So all these experiences, working with the perennial cropping systems, annual crops, integrated farming systems, having own seed banks, and also traditional revival, restoration of traditional agriculture practices. So how we can maintain these things while working with the farmers by giving knowledge sharing from one generation to another generation. This is what my experience, small experience. Thank you.